You have heard often enough the importance of wisdom, and it's true. Without wisdom, there will be no awakening. Wisdom is a mental state. Okay? It is that in the person that understands. That is wisdom. And wisdom is not intelligence. It is not. It is, so I'm now writing, actually, I'm now not actually writing, but I'm supposed to be writing my 5th chapter, which is on wisdom. And then a book that I'm writing is called Towards the Light. And I've published four booklets already. The 5th one is on wisdom, and I've started writing, but because of all the classes, you all, right? All these days, I cannot sit down to write properly. But it's one of the harder ones to write because there's so many things to say. It's probably going to end up with the thickest chapter. But to put it simply, it is the difference between intelligence and wisdom is this. Intelligence is how do I harness resources in the most efficient and effective way and get an outcome I want. Okay? Resources and outcome. That's what I'm interested in. So you're very intelligent, you can understand the things and you get something that you want. Wisdom is judgment call leading to a win-win outcome. Win-win. And it will require you to have knowledge and experience, but decisions and judgment to come out with win-win. So if I know how to resolve a conflict and everybody walks away okay, that's wisdom. If I come up with a solution that get me what I want over your dead body, that's intelligence. But I beat you. Okay? I must beat you. Then can you have wisdom and intelligence at the same time? Of course. But you can also have no wisdom and no intelligence. Okay? They are 2 separate mental states. They're very, very different. But in the Dhamma, it is critical. Without wisdom, no spiritual progress, no enlightenment. Don't have. Okay? Then we're talking about the 3 stages, every step. 3 W's and 1 H. Where, who, what. Salah la, why la, not who. Where, why, what, how. Okay, so who is also your teacher? Okay, what it means is this. You remember at a point we are very new. For some of you who have been on this journey 30 years, I cannot remember. But for some of you relatively new, where do you go? Who do you learn with? Which source do I use? What books do I read? Right? Nowadays, YouTube. Which website I go to? Which talk I listen to? Those are basics. And why does it require basic wisdom? Because you can buck up the wrong tree in a very bad way. 对不对? How many of you will say, 我是过来人? I've been there, done that. Buck up the wrong tree. No need shy, I also have. When I started this journey in 1992, I also buck up wrong tree. But my karma is lucky enough, is good enough for me to come down that wrong tree. I didn't stay up the wrong tree for a long time, just for a short while, maybe 6 months. But it also went up the wrong tree. Okay? I wanted rambutan, I went up banana. Okay, banana not a tree, durian tree. You know what I'm saying? It can happen. So right at the start, how do you know this is a teacher worthy to follow? That is a training worthy to follow? I've also got that wrong. But it is wisdom that gets you to, salah. And you run off, okay? Then comes, now you're on the journey, okay? Correct, ready? So you see, I have 4 points here. Along the way, you need wisdom to know how to cultivate what essential mental states. Those words are not there, okay? I repeat, the first one, as you are doing it, I need wisdom to know what mental states I must cultivate, how to do it. So we all know I must cultivate wisdom. How? I must cultivate samadhi. How? I must cultivate mindfulness. How? See that? It takes wisdom for you to understand how. All of them has a how. And all of them has a right how and the wrong way. So you got to figure that out, okay? Connecting the dots. So many Dharma points. 4 Noble Truths, 3 characteristics, dependent origination. How to connect them. You cannot connect. Your meditation goes very still, then nothing happens. You cannot connect in your daily life. Dhamma is there. I am here. I live my life oblivious of Dhamma. Cannot connect. So that connecting is important, okay? Then comes, you live a life, you definitely got to make choices. There can be the simple one, the simple here and now, which food I go for, but that's not Dhamma. Okay, that one is not Dhamma. Or do I react this way or do I react that way? The challenge is the two bad choices. Which one is less problematic? 2 good choices. Which one is better? Bad and good, we can make the decision. We can make the call. I kill, I don't kill. You cannot make a call. I don't kill. But, now I throw in something more problematic. This person you love is going to die in a lot of pain. Now ask you to stop the treatment. Do you or do you not? There you are. I got break precept or not? God. Then I cannot break precept. Then he suffer. Correct, right? These are the 2 bad choices. 2 bad choices. What do you do? Okay? All these requires wisdom to figure the way out, and your conscience is clear. So in 2 bad choices, you make a choice, conscience clear, wisdom. 2 good choices, there was sure no conscience one. Sure conscience is not counted, but it's which one better. Do I go for the retreat, ignore what's happening at home? But retreat good ma, training of mind. But your family needs your support. It demands chaga from you. 2 good choices, what do you choose? Can you see that? That one also requires wisdom and conscience happy. Okay? So these are all these requires Dhamma. Requires wisdom to get it right. And now in real time, the noting of the mind activities in real time, because that's where the magic is. Enlightenment, awakening happens when you can correlate Dhamma concept to what's happening here and now in your mind. Okay? That's along the way. And then finally, enlightenment. Awakening, Dhamma in daily life. If you cannot apply the Dhamma, if you cannot live in the Dhamma in your daily life, I repeat, living in the Dhamma in your daily life. What does it mean? At any time we give in to our defilements, we are out of the Dhamma. At any time we are living a pure life, a good life, generally consistent with the guidance of Dhamma, you're not overwhelmed by your defilements, you are living in the Dhamma. When you're living in the Dhamma, the Eightfold Path is natural part of life. Your perspective is correct, your leaning is correct, your speech and actions are consistent with the teaching. You live, and how do you know? Because your mind generally is in a state of samadhi, in daily life. Samadhi doesn't appear only when you sit. Samadhi is a part of your life. Then you're living in the Dhamma. How do you get there? How does that even happen? That's why it's called endpoint. Endpoint. This is what will happen. The Buddha lives like that. The Arya Sangha, they live like that. The rest of us live that way. That side. We haven't quite got to this side. Okay? All right, done. I tell you what, let me just... This one is straightforward. Huh? In this workshop, I'm going to use right view and right intention. You recall what I said about right view, right? Right views is right perspective of the Dhamma, of life, which is see floor, see blood. Hey, earlier on, right view, what was it? The Four Noble Truths, okay? Four Noble Truths. You all don't go to dependent origination yet. We just stay with Four Noble Truths, okay? 3 characteristics of the aggregates and so on. Okay, now, these two, Samadhi, right understanding, view, perspective, perception, and Sammasankappa, right intention, right thought, right leaning. The words are different. But I'm trying to capture the Pali essence. One is a view, a lens. Because of that view, my mind leans in a certain way. That's why it's called intention and leaning. Because of that lens, the mind leans in a certain way. Get it? This is what's happening to you at all time. These two. We tend not to have samadhi. Ditti, view, perspective, understanding, attitude. We want the right version. Right. What does it mean, right? Oh, wait. Conscious, deliberate, or subconscious, instinctive, habitual. You don't spend half your time going, this is my view. Right? You just act. You act. But underpinning the action, underpinning the choice of words, underpinning that is a view. It's like if I assume someone has right intentions, someone has wholesome intention, I don't get angry. If I assume the intention is to judge, to be critical, to attack, I get angry, right? But that judgment call you have, is this person being difficult? Is this person 冲着我来, aiming it at me, targeting me? That assumption that you have, how did that come about? You ask yourself this. Are you naturally defensive? Or you are naturally accepting? Do you naturally assume people have right intention? Or do you assume that people are not nice, deliberate? There is a certain assumptions that you hold. I want you to reflect and ask yourself. Then you turn to the person next to you and you tell the person your answer. Are you naturally leaning towards wholesome, meaning understanding, receptive, thoughtful? Do you naturally assume someone's intention is negative or positive? What's your natural instinct? Okay, reflect. And to the person next to you. If you are cold, sit here, it's warmer. I'm serious, think about it. Then you say, I don't know. I give you another example. This is your instinct. Hello, this is your instinct. This is you. Okay? Positive. Guarded. Some will be very guarded. Instinctively. Okay? Now, I ask you. Now I want you to think. Recall people. Okay? Hello. Follow. I want you to recall 3 people. Recall. That means think of someone. 3 people. Okay, don't have to tell me the answer. Just think. Okay? All done? Managed to do 3 or not? 2 only. Must have 3. Try. Okay, got 3 already? Okay, now think of 5. No, not 5 more, 2 more. 3 plus 2. Okay, done? Okay, now my question to you, the 3 original that you pull out, do you like them or do you not like them? Okay, then the 2 more that you throw in, do you like them or do you not like them? All like one, all like. Okay, 50-50, okay. If you're all negative, you don't tell me, just you know, okay? Then I want you to correlate the 2 answers. The first one where I said, do you naturally assume positive or negative? And the second one was, when you think of somebody, is it someone you like or someone you don't like? The odds are, the first one, if it's negative, the people you think of are negative ones. The first one is positive. So if your automatic assumption is, okay, generally I suspend judgment. I don't assume they are bad. I suspend my judgment, okay? Then the people you think about may be 50-50. Then if it's positive, the odds are the people you think about are positive. So negative, 50-50, positive. Odds are there's a correlation. Okay? There's a correlation. Then the question is why? Why is there a correlation? It reflects your mind's natural leaning. Your mind's natural leaning. If naturally leaning towards being guarded, being more careful, more protective, okay? If you naturally lean that way, this is the 50-50 situation. If you live a life that is very hard, you had been experiencing a lot of pain over the years, then there is a pretty good chance that you will end up having some resentment. And so your natural instinct is to assume the worst of people as self-protection mechanism. Then if you're very, very happy, very blessed, generally quite okay, the conditions that you experience, life conditions, quite positive, or you're into the Dhamma, after a while, the Dhamma will polish you, then you try and see the good in people, that becomes your habit. Do you understand? These are all built in. So the DT, if you clean it up in accordance with the Dhamma, after a while you tend to see the good. And then oddly enough, you always experience the good. But if you are allowing your anger to take control over you, then at some point you will only see the bad. In which case, you will experience your life, your reality becomes a rather dark perspective. Okay? So because you guys are all here, there's a higher chance in this audience, you're a bit out of the average, the national average. So in this audience, possibly more positive in this audience. If I were to take this to a national audience, then the answers may be a bit different. But you're Sudama, very happy. Sudama, right? Sudama, right? Very happy. Yeah. Okay. Sama. The word sama, perfect, correct, right, as opposed to the normal human view leans towards not beneficial. Sama, right, correct, actually means beneficial, helpful, because it takes you closer to awakening. They are the view that helps you overcome or negate craving. Your views being correct helps you reduce craving. Your views being unhelpful, wrong, will increase craving. Do you understand? If you say success in life is defined by how many digits in my bank account, that's a view, right? Is it helpful or not? It won't be helpful for happiness. It's very helpful for pleasure, but not at all helpful for happiness. Happiness not determined by how many digits behind your bank account. Do you understand? Pleasure, yes, because you can afford more things. but that's not happiness. Okay? Get it? So I repeat, right means it reduces craving. Wrong view increases craving. Right view decreases craving, decreases defilements. Wrong view increases craving, increases defilement. Get it? Therefore, ergo, this is where our whole morning of hard work comes in. Ergo. Repeat, wrong view, what happened? Increases craving, increases defilement, therefore increases. Very good. Dukkha, suffering. This ergo you must know. Wrong view increases craving, increases defilement, increases suffering. Now we make this come alive. Okay, alive. You think you live forever. Then I don't. But you don't know, you will assume you will live to see tomorrow. How many of you assume, does not assume that? Then you say, Then I ask you, you got plan for next year trip? Anyone who plan a trip for tomorrow, you assume you are still around. If not, you plan for what? If I'm dying of cancer, I ain't going to plan for tomorrow. 对不对? I mean, at most you plan for tomorrow outing lah. But you definitely not plan for next month's outing if you're dying. So as long as you have a plan for fun tomorrow or next week, or even better, next year, right? By the way, I also plan for next year. So I assume I'm going to be alive next year lah. But that's common, right? That's an assumption we all hold. Okay? That's our view, right? Reality may not be like that, but that's a view. So then we will enjoy it. We will enjoy it. We think about this, we think about that. We will also plan. We will feed the craving. And therefore we get disappointed when we don't get it. But plan so good already, then you can't fall down, break your leg. Like that how? Right? That's why must buy travel insurance. Okay. Joke. Okay. So all these, put it into real life. Put it into your real life. We assume we will live on. Therefore, we must work. Therefore, we must earn money. Therefore, we must gain. Therefore, we must do better. You see what I'm saying? It's because you assume you're going to live forever. You want this, you want that, you want to plan, you want to improve, you want to go for self-improvement, etc., etc. Then we plan. Then, sister, are you telling us that the correct way of living is not to plan? If you are Arahant, you don't plan. But the rest of us, we must moderate planning. You cannot live a life without plans. But don't plan until page 1, page 2, addendum 1, 2, 3. So many things you plan. So many checklists. Reduce that, make it key point, done. The more you want, the more things you have up there, the more you will face disappointment, the more you have pain. So moderation. Not that you have none, but you shouldn't have that many. Okay, moderation. Okay. What else? That's it. Actually, the critical thing is these four. The noble truth of dukkha, noble truth of the origin of dukkha, noble truth of the cessation of dukkha, noble truth of the path leading to the cessation of dukkha. Okay? Details to follow, so I will not talk here anymore. I will have a whole afternoon on this. Okay? Now, because of the right view, you can take picture rather than write. There is a flow. Earlier on I showed, when you have a view, your mind leans in a certain way. So this is the flow. Because your view is about dukkha, Because the rest of us, we don't have dukkha in our mind. Actually, the rest of us have sukha in the mind. They are. We don't have dukkha in the mind. We don't see the problem. We only see the anticipation and the pleasure. Because our mind leans in that way, the sukha, what we want is the mind will then follow in a certain way. They want more. They chase. They won't let go. They get disappointed. They get angry. That's how the mind leans. Okay? Sankappa, Sama Sankappa, which is right intention, right thought, that one is coming. Imprint. This is where the imprints come in. They lay your habit. They also lead to future habits. So if you are training your mind, you must learn to train your mind towards moderation and contentment. If your mind doesn't lean towards moderation and contentment, you will feed the habit of wanting. Okay? Okay. So I'm moving a little bit fast here. Can you see that? There are three. When it comes to Sama Sankappa, the right leaning, right thought, right intention, there are three. One is Nekkhamma, translated as renunciation, which is the opposite of greed, which is letting go, moderation, contentment, generosity. If you can accept and you can forgive and you can let go, your mind will lean towards kindness, accepting, embracing, forgiving. If your mind leans this way, you are kind, compassionate. You will not hurt to vent. These three must be a baseline for your mind. If you don't have these three as a baseline, there will always be dukkha. Okay, this is baseline. Huh? When you have wisdom, then you say NAA na sisimi. Nekkhamma ayopata avihimsa. Okay? The na Nekkhamma avipada avihimsa. Renunciation, letting go, no ill will, no cruelty. Without wisdom, you will give in to your habits and your defilements, which is anger and desires, delusion. And so, those becomes instinct. The regular person does not choose na. They will choose the other one. Loba, dosa, moha. The regular person instinct. So, example. Back to someone scold you. Hello, why you like that? Your instinct is? Why cannot? Why cannot? Your instinct will not be, nah. Scold already, what? Don't care. Someone cut you. Aiya, sudah lah. Cut, happy. Correct, right? Sudah mah? What is your instinct? Think. Wait, the last time, I want you to recall, don't imagine, now you recall. I want you to recall the last time you got annoyed. Because you're very well practiced. You don't get angry, you just get annoyed. Okay? When was the last time you got annoyed? Recall. Can you think? Okay? The rest of you, think harder. Sure have one. This morning, what happened? Okay? I want you to recall. Recall already? You all recall? Yes or no? Don't have, nobody answer, I come up to you and what is your example? Okay? Or everyone recall one incident. Can be very, very minor, okay? At that point, when that happened, what is it you want? What is it you want? Can you recall? At that point when you got annoyed, what is it you want? Okay, you recall, Can you let go? Can you let it be? If you can let it be, the anger won't come out again. You cannot let it be. You cannot let that desire go. Congratulations, it will happen again. Do you understand? So I want you to see that connection. In that incident that you recall, did you scold? No need to tell me. Okay? You don't have to tell me. Did you say anything? Did you react? If you had reacted, so maybe it has happened many times before. Sometimes you had reacted, sometimes you didn't. But I'm telling you, if you cannot let go of that desire, it will happen again. You will have round 2, 3, round infinity. It will still happen. Okay? If you can forgive and you can walk away because you've sorted it out in your mind, then the anger wouldn't come up again. No anger, no avihimsa. 你明白吗? It's a direct correlation. Okay? Everyone okay, huh?
Sometimes when you're annoyed because you say, oh, this is a matter of principle.
Correct. You have discipline. So what are you holding on to? That's a very good example. Sometimes you get annoyed because you feel that it's a matter of principle. What are you holding on to? Your notion of principle, right? Your idea. So you're holding on to an idea. Get it? It's a view, yes.